The arena was buzzing, anticipation thick in the air as fans gathered to witness a clash of styles and wills. On one side stood Jorge Linares, Venezuela's boxing master, known for his lightning speed, flawless combinations, and surgical precision. His reputation as a slick, technical genius made him a favorite among purists. Across the ring, Nihito Arakawa of Japan prepared himself, a man celebrated for his relentless pressure, indomitable spirit, and refusal to ever take a step backward. This was not just a fight, it was an unstoppable force colliding with an immovable object. As the fighters touched gloves, the crowd leaned forward, aware they were about to witness something extraordinary. The first bell rang, and immediately Linares snapped out a crisp jab, sharp as a whip. His footwork was dazzling, circling, pivoting, finding angles that most fighters could only dream of. But Arakawa was unfazed. With a granite chin and an iron will, he marched forward, absorbing shots, testing Linares' speed with his own bursts of aggression. The first exchanges set the tone. Linares' punches were faster, cleaner, sharper, yet Arakawa's relentless forward motion created an eerie suspense. Every step closer brought the sense that Linares' elegant boxing might not be enough to hold him off forever. The sound of leather on flesh echoed through the arena as combinations landed, but Arakawa shook them off, firing back with heavy, looping punches designed to break through Linares' defense. By the end of round one, the crowd was roaring. This was no ordinary contest. It was a war of contrasts. Artistry versus grit, speed versus resilience. Both men returned to their corners, eyes locked, breathing hard, knowing the battle ahead would test not just their skills, but their very souls. Round after round, Linares showcased why he was considered one of the most technically gifted fighters of his generation. His jab was like a laser, snapping Arakawa's head back, followed by blistering 1-2 combinations that landed cleanly. His footwork kept him just outside danger, darting into land and sliding out before Arakawa could retaliate. The Venezuelan looked composed, almost untouchable, a master chess player moving the pieces exactly as he wanted. But Arakawa was no ordinary opponent. Every time Linares landed 3, 4, even 5 clean punches, Arakawa would respond by charging forward with hooks, uppercuts, and wild combinations. His face began to redden, swelling under the constant punishment, but his spirit refused to crack. Instead of discouragement, every clean Linares shot seemed to ignite something deeper in Arakawa, pushing him to press harder, to fight with an intensity that left the crowd gasping. By the middle rounds, the suspense was electric. How long could Linares keep up this dazzling pace without succumbing to fatigue? How many more clean punches could Arakawa endure before his body betrayed his heart? Each exchange became a test of wills, Linares' skill and sharpness clashing with Arakawa's relentless durability. Every time Linares seemed to seize control, landing a stunning combination that should have discouraged anyone else, Arakawa pushed forward again, gritting his teeth, roaring back with punches that echoed like thunder. The Japanese warrior's resilience transformed the fight into something greater than a display of skill. It was becoming a war. As the bell ended another furious round, sweat and blood flew under the bright lights, and the crowd was on its feet. Neither man was backing down, and the sense of an unforgettable storm brewing grew stronger with each passing second. The fight had now evolved into something far more brutal than anyone expected. Linares' speed and precision were still dazzling, but the cost of keeping Arakawa at bay was mounting. His legs began to slow, his breathing deepened, and for the first time, tiny gaps appeared in his defense. It was all the invitation Arakawa needed. The Japanese warrior pounced, surging forward like a man possessed. Linares landed flush shots, straight rights, snapping jabs, hooks to the body. But Arakawa's chin was granite, his will unshakable. Each punch that should have ended the fight only seemed to fuel his engine. The suspense grew unbearable. Could Arakawa actually wear down one of boxing's most skillful fighters simply by refusing to fall? blood began to trickle. Swelling appeared on both men, and the atmosphere in the arena turned into chaos. Fans were screaming, standing, their voices almost drowning out the sound of punches landing. Every exchange became a gamble with fate. When Linares unleashed a blistering six-punch combination, Arakawa responded with a furious barrage of his own, pushing Linares onto the ropes, forcing the slick technician into a dangerous brawl he had hoped to avoid. At this point, strategy was dissolving. It was no longer a contest of skill versus grit. It was survival. Both men were fighting not just for victory, but to prove something deeper, something primal. Linares, with every elegant punch, was defending his reputation as a master boxer. Arakawa, with every relentless surge, was proving his spirit was unbreakable. The turning point had arrived. Linares looked to be in control, yet Arakawa's relentless pressure was cracking the narrative. The fight was now a storm neither man could escape. One mistake, one punch, could change everything in an instant. The final rounds unfolded like a scene from a war movie. Linares, battered but determined, refused to let fatigue erase his brilliance. His punches still had sharpness, his combinations still sparked cheers from the crowd. But every second was a test of endurance, and Arakawa never stopped coming. With his face bloodied, his eyes swollen, and his body bruised, Arakawa looked less like a boxer and more like a warrior, fueled purely by heart. He charged forward with reckless abandon, eating punches that would have ended lesser men. The suspense was suffocating. Every fan in the arena and every viewer at home knew the fight could end with a single blow. Yet both men kept trading, neither willing to surrender. In one sequence, Linares unleashed a dazzling combination, snapping Arakawa's head back with a right hand that echoed through the arena. The crowd gasped, expecting a knockdown, but impossibly, Arakawa steadied himself, roared, and threw back a vicious flurry of punches, cornering Linares against the ropes. The Venezuelan had to summon every ounce of his skill and courage to survive, slipping, countering, and firing back. As the final bell approached, the pace intensified. Both men, exhausted, bruised, and battered, stood in the center of the ring, exchanging punches as if their lives depended on it. The roar of the crowd reached a fever pitch, knowing they had just witnessed something unforgettable. A brutal yet beautiful display of heart, skill, and raw determination. When the fight ended, there was no silence, only thunderous applause. Both warriors had etched their names into boxing history, not simply for victory or defeat, but for delivering a war that would be remembered for years. This wasn't just boxing. It was the essence of combat, courage, and heart on full display.